So the next time that you feel the urge to grab your phone or fill up any sort of pause, just stop and wonder, is this an authentic inquiry, or am I just habitually doing this, or am I actually kind of just avoiding feeling something I don't want to feel? People are driven by not feeling the feelings that they don't want to feel. That's what drives their lives. And it's a very limited way to exist. Hello. Welcome back to the Art of Awakening podcast, where the art of living awake becomes a daily practice. I'm Dr. Sue Morter, your host, and I'm thrilled to be here again with you as always. Here's today's question. Why is it so hard to be still? Why do we reach for our phones the moment that we feel a pause? Why do we do such things? What are we really avoiding when we fill every moment with noise and distraction? I want you to just take a moment and pause. Just take a deep breath in your belly. Rest in your body. Soften your shoulders. And allow for this moment to be about you. Allow for just a few moments today, even if you're busy doing something else, to ignite something still and deep within. So think about the last time that you felt the urge to check your phone or fill in a quiet moment. What if that urge wasn't just a habit, but a way of avoiding something? Ultimately, we're avoiding stillness. We may think that we're avoiding that conversation or avoiding doing that project that we committed to or avoiding something that's uncomfortable or unfun. But actually, underneath all of that is something deeper. The deeper thing beneath all of that is stillness. Ultimately, if we're having trouble following through on our dreams, our desires, our passions, our goals, or our visions for our lives, those kinds of things, we're actually avoiding stillness. We're actually avoiding that deep space within that allows for all things to come together. And so we're going to take a look at that. Inside this episode, we're going to explore why stillness feels so uncomfortable in today's world and what's really happening when we avoid silence. And we're going to cover some practical tools to embrace stillness and reconnect your true self again. All right, so let's dive in. First of all, I just want to say that stillness can feel like a waste of time in a world that glorifies busyness, right? The important people were super busy and the important people don't have time. And so we automatically model that, we follow that, and we create that for ourselves, secretly seeking some sort of something from that, some false identity, unfortunately. We avoid stillness because it forces us to face what's beneath the surface, our thoughts, our emotions, our energy, the reality of how we're doing it, actually mastering ourselves and our lives and accepting our magnificence and allowing for that to be true, to actually be true. If we're busy defending our unworthiness, we can't stand the silence because the silence represents the bigness of our being. It's vast. It's immense, and it's the truth of you. But if you've decided somewhere along the way that you're not that you're less than that in some way, then any moment that would bring you close to that stillness is frightening, terrifying to the protective personality that is protecting your smallness. That's what the protective personality is doing. It's defending a version of you that is unworthy. So if you were able to handle the deep, vast stillness of the cosmos, you would not be unworthy. And so that protective personality's identity is under threat. And it's not going to let that happen. So it keeps you busy, keeps you from ever even being able to sit inside of what could become transformation. Discomfort is where transformation begins. It is by getting out of your comfort zone, because your comfort zone likely was originally built in this protective style that I've been describing. So there's nothing real about it. It's not incorrect, it's just incomplete. It's not whole and complete because the wholeness of your being could handle anything. Big busy moments and deeply still, prolonged states of consciousness all of it, full spectrum, you'd be loving. So the next time that you feel the urge to grab your phone or fill up any sort of pause, just stop and wonder, is this an authentic inquiry, or am I just habitually doing this, or am I actually kind of just avoiding feeling something I don't want to feel? You know, I work with thousands of people all the time, and I know that people are driven by not feeling the feelings that they don't want to feel. That's what drives their lives. And it's a very limited way to exist. And by avoiding things that you don't want to feel, you're skating across the top of something that eventually will lead to more and more serious circumstances. It's like avoiding anything else in life that we know needs regular attention. So what am I avoiding? Am I avoiding a discomfort? Am I avoiding the fact that there's no communication in this situation, or no development in that situation, or nothing beautiful and flowing over here where I thought it would be, or my life isn't, progressing in some way that I dreamt of? Those realities stir vibrations inside of us, and the vibrations that they stir inside of us, we're supposed to be noticing, and we're supposed to be breathing into them and embracing them and feeling them and unpacking them. But when we avoid them and shove them deeper down, they lead to, unhealthy behaviors, of course. The addictions, the triggers, all of the woundedness persists, and we are living in a state of constant fear, which leads us to a state of control, constantly trying to control what other people say and do and control how things go so that we can have some false sense of security, which doesn't have anything to do with anything. It is a waste of your life. It's a waste of the beautiful one life that you have here at this time. So what am I avoiding? What am I avoiding? Am I avoiding something? That's a fair question. Am I avoiding something right now? Is there something going on that I don't want to feel? And if I would just pause and take 3 breaths and feel it, then I can go ahead and pick up my phone, but at least I'm softening the barrier. I'm starting to disassemble this construct that I've put in place that is actually making my life miserable, whether I know it or not. Right. Constant stimulation keeps us in a reactive state, drains our energy, disconnects us from our inner wisdom. It just does all of that. And when we avoid stillness, we miss the opportunity to realign with the true self. Getting the mind on the true self and getting that reintegrated and getting the mind rewoven back into its true and proper role is illuminating to our lives, healing to every aspect and level of our lives, transformative to every aspect, our relationships, our financial circumstances, our ability to physically heal. All of it is one thing. It's all interrelated. You cannot have an effect that doesn't roll out and affect all of these facets of your life. So silence is a good thing. It isn't empty. It's where clarity and creative emerge from. The whole of life generates and emerges from the silent void, the deep silent void of abundance. That's what it is. And the reason it feels silent is because everything is there. The reason that it feels like a void is because there's everything there. So there's nothing to pick on or pick up on. There's nothing to differentiate or delineate because it's all there, whole and complete. So when we move into the silence, we're moving into our completeness. And that completeness is made of creative energy. So if you're wanting to be more creative in your life and more of the creator of your life, then embracing the silence is key. I cannot get into a day, get up and get started on my day and do the things that I do in my life without silence, without there being moments of conscious and intentional allowance for the silence to rise. And I have done that for so long that there's actually a walking silence within me that is awake. It's there, and I sit down in it all the time. And when I'm there and doing life in that way, wisdom rises. The answers are here. The solution weaves itself together in the real moment, right as it is needed. And I don't get pulled into the dramas and the gossips and the all of the all in the ways that so many do. It doesn't mean that you don't participate. It means that you participate from silence. You participate from a stillness. That's what I'm talking about. From a stillness. And that allows you to speak with wisdom and to bring solutions and to weave things together. And I know that is what you are thriving on in your life. It's what you're seeking if you're not already thriving on it. And if you're seeking it, it's right here. It's under your nose. It's right here. So create some small moments of stillness throughout your day, just tiny little moments where it only takes seconds for you to tap into it once you're familiar with what it feels like. You can build that familiarity by simply pausing before you reach for your phone. You ask, do I really need to do that? Before you plug on the computer, before you get busying things. Some people tidy up the place instead of getting on their phone. Same. Some people find all sorts of things to do instead of just being. All of it. Some things have been so rewarding. Some people become immersed in their work or immersed in a project that keeps them busy and keeps, their mind occupied 24/7. And as long as those are incremental things that happen periodically as part of a bigger picture of balance in your life, that's okay to do. But check in, make sure that you can also sit down. So start with 10 seconds of silence before reaching for whatever it is that you reach for. Just 10 seconds. Just sit and breathe 10 times. And don't count them. Use your fingers instead of actually saying breath 1, breath 2, because you're keeping that mind so engaged. That's why in Eastern cultures, they would use the mala and japa and just pull the bead over their finger one at a time, at one after another, so that they didn't have to think and count. They could just be in the repetition, the repetitiveness of the mantra. By trancing the mind with the mantra, they were able to allow this creative essence to rise. That's what we're here for, to let the creative essence rise. So even just 10 seconds is a great start. Stillness doesn't have to be long or perfect. It's about creating space to reconnect the mind with this deep, true state, the truth of you, this true energy being, this soulful self, the quantum being deep within. So when you embrace stillness, you allow your energy to reorganize toward truth, to simplify. It takes distortions out of the field. Who would have thought that this thing called stillness or silence had answers in it, had all the answers in it? And that's exactly the way that it is. You will allow your mind to clear and your body to align if you just start honoring this no thing. Honor the no thing part of you that allows the thing part of you to reorganize and to perfect itself more. And so practice central channel breathing. Ground yourself in the present moment. If you don't know what central channel breathing is, I have all over YouTube all sorts of videos that you can watch and so on. It's breathing up and down the central channel of your body. And so you breathe from the earth up into your belly. Just do it with me now. Breathe up into your belly. And then when you exhale up through the chest, the heart, the chest, the throat, the center of your brain, and out the top of your head. And then take a breath in from overhead and breathe it down and soak it in and drink it in and receive and receive and receive this glorious breath from the cosmos, literally from the universe. And breathe it all the way down to your belly. And then exhale all the way down into the earth, into the center of the earth, as if you're breathing down into the heart of Mother Earth. And if you're someone who's like, look, I don't hug trees and I don't talk to the heart of Mother Earth, I understand. But it's still true about you, whether you want to be that person or not. The energies are actually doing that. You're actually exchanging photons with those trees when you walk past them all the time. They're hugging you, you're hugging them, whether you're aware of it or not. It's kind of wild. We've created so much separation and we've isolated ourselves into so much rigidity that we think we know how it goes and what's what in life. And it's just not that way until we start to learn the quantum principles of reality, what science is now showing us. We used to call it the new science, but it's been around for hundreds of years, folks. So let's let it be science. Quantum science has been a discussion for 200 years. It's just come into the theories that were in the principles and the journals and the professional journals like 100 years ago and 50 years ago, and into, the mass conversation in the last 20 or so. And so it doesn't make it new. It just makes you new to it, if that's you. And if there are others in your life that are poo-pooing what you're saying, it has nothing to do with anything other than for you to find silence in the presence of such judgments. If you can go to silence, you won't go to trigger. And that's always a good option, right? So breathing yourself, you ground yourself into the present moment when you central channel breathe in this way. You're anchoring yourself into alpha frequency. Your mind's going to start operating differently. There's going to be more silence, more spaciousness in between your thoughts. And there's going to be more beauty in your life. You'll come up with different ideas under those circumstances. You'll see life differently because of that perspective. So this simple technique helps you stay connected to your energy and stay present even in the midst of a busy day. I can be running down an airport concourse, but the moment I have to start running because I'm going to miss the flight if it's not, I drop in to a deep state of silence while I'm hurriedly running down the airport concourse. And I used to do that a lot when I was traveling all over the world every week to a different location to teach and to work with people. And I would never let go of the stillness. I would never let go. I'll let go of just about anything except that. I'm attached to the stillness. I hope you are too. So ask yourself, what role is stillness playing in your life right now? Are you letting it have any space? Because if you'll create space for stillness, you'll create space for creativity. You'll create space for abundance and space for success, because in that order is how it all unfolds. So if you see stillness as a challenge, it could be an opportunity to uncover something deeper within. What might your life look like if you approached it with curiosity? If you became embracing of stillness with compassion instead of resistance? Everything melts, everything shifts, and all of a sudden you're literally walking in a different reality. It doesn't have to be big or complex. Sometimes it's as simple as pausing, breathing, and asking, what's really going on here? What's this revealing to me about me? When we just walk and live with that kind of a disposition, those are the questions that get answered. When we ask questions like, what am I doing wrong? What am I missing? What's not happening here? Why can't this? Why don't you? Those are the questions that can't get answered because we're not looking at the causal level of life. Everything emerges from stillness. If you really want to have the answers for transformation in your life, let's find a little silence every day. All right? So it's always a pleasure to be with you, and I love our conversations that we get to have, and I want to thank you for spending time with me today on the Art of Awakening podcast, where we're always blending science and spirituality to empower you to create a life that you truly love. I want to thank you for being a responsible individual on this planet, because when you better yourself, you leave this place better than you found it, and that's what we're coming into this Earth School to do. Learn how to do that. All right. I hope this episode is inspiring you, and don't forget to subscribe to this and share the podcast with your friends. We have an amazing growing community. It's a joy to be with all of you, and I can't wait until next time. I'm Dr. Sue Morter. Blessings to you all, and namaste. Bye-bye for now.